Mars is being invaded by the creatures of hell, and it's up to you to close the portal linking Mars and hell together. It's time to fight like hell. Doom is a reboot of the popular first-person shooter from Bethesda. It's the first real entry in the series since Doom 3 in 2004. This new Doom is split into 3 main sections: the single-player campaign, the multiplayer mode, and the level creator. Let's start off with the single-player campaign. The single-player campaign is roughly 9 to 11 hours, and it really just depends on how well you are at the game, but in total there are about 13 missions for you to complete. The game starts off with the silent protagonist waking up from a pod on Mars. The science facility you're in has been completely destroyed and overtaken by the demons of hell. All you know is that according to a scientist in the building, they experimented with a portal to hell, causing demons from hell to leak into Mars, killing all the people on the Mars base. Now our character doesn't give a single fuck about the scientist's explanation. He just knows that he messed up and now he's really pissed off. All that matters now is to shut down the portal to hell and kill all these demons. It's pretty much like that for the rest of the game. The main character doesn't really have any depth to him. He's just a really pissed off badass who's here to kill some demons. Now from the very beginning of the game, your arsenal consists of a pistol and then you quickly gain a shotgun. You're tasked with killing every demon inside of a room before quickly moving on to the next one. And you'll notice that this level design starts to become more of a pattern than just unique level design. Not to say that I didn't like the single player campaign, I thought it was pretty fun and fast paced, but also somewhat repetitive. You see, the single player mode is entirely focused on just killing enemies around you, not only to progress the game, but also to survive. You don't regenerate health at all, instead you pick up health packs and shield packs scattered across the map. The biggest source of health though, comes from killing enemies. When you perform a brutal melee kill on an enemy, they'll die and drop health for you to heal. In a sense, you tackle a giant horde of enemies at once, risking your life, but also knowing that if you chain kill well enough, you'll survive the demon masses. This happens pretty much in every level, and the only real form of change in level design is the location of the mission, the occasional boss fight, and sometimes having to go look for a key to progress the level. Overall though, it did become repetitive, yet because of the progression of weapon unlocks and the upgrades, I continued to have fun. Like I mentioned before, you start off with the simple pistol and the shotgun, but quickly you start to unlock new weapons like a machine gun and a plasma rifle, just to name a few. It doesn't really stop there either, because you can upgrade these weapons with attachments and alternative fires that change up how each weapon feels. For example, the shotgun, although it acts like a normal shotgun, you can upgrade to have explosive bullets. The machine gun on the other hand can get a scope upgrade so you can aim from afar, and a missile upgrade that shoots tiny little explosives at your enemies. This, along with the gruesome gameplay, is what kept me playing the campaign. Now aside from the campaign, let's talk about the more general gameplay and how it differs from most modern first-person shooters. The game featured the quick-moving gameplay of previous Doom entries, feeling almost like you glide over the floor as you run. There isn't really a walk option, you just kind of run. There isn't a dedicated reload button either, instead you keep firing until you're out of ammo. Like I mentioned before, you don't have regenerating health either, instead you have to gain health packs. Now, does this all make the game feel old compared to other shooters right now? No, not really, it just feels different, but very adaptable. I guess in a way it does feel like a brand new 2004 shooter, and in the sense how Halo felt different compared to other shooters at the time when Halo 3 was the new Halo on the market. Overall, it just feels really different compared to the rest of the shooters out on the market right now. The level creator is a really nifty tool. You can create your own levels that range from a simple survive the enemy horde map to a full-size complete remake of the original Doom levels. You have the ability to create different floor plans, place enemies in specific locations. You pretty much have a ton of different tools at your disposal. Best of all, it's easy to upload your level online and share it with your friends or the general public. There's even a marketplace of sorts where you can see the most voted for maps, or just see featured maps chosen by the developers. Lastly, let's talk about the multiplayer mode. It's incredibly fun. So everything I mentioned about how the gameplay in Doom is different from most traditional shooters is still the same here. In terms of the multiplayer specific features, you can create your own custom loadouts, change the way your armor looks a bit, and choose specific taunts. That's as far as the customization goes in this game. There's a few different game modes you can play, but most can be categorized as a form of King of the Hill or Team Deathmatch. My personal 3 favorite game modes are Team Deathmatch, Freeze Tag, and Warpath. Team Deathmatch is your traditional Team Deathmatch. You're split into 2 different teams of 6 trying to kill each other. It's the traditional game mode with the fast-paced gameplay of Doom. It's pretty fun. Warpath is essentially King of the Hill, except the spot that you have to cover moves across the map. This changes up the gameplay by keeping the zone to capture moving instead of making it a specific spot on the map filled with chaos. My personal favorite game mode is Freeze Tag, which is essentially Freeze Tag combined with Team Deathmatch. Instead of dying when you're killed, you're instead frozen. Your enemies have to freeze your entire team in order to win. and if one of your teammates are frozen, you can stand next to them to thaw them out and have them respawn. It's a really interesting take on the traditional team deathmatch mode. Now as you play the multiplayer mode, you'll unlock new custom loadouts and new ways to customize your characters, and that's essentially the progression system in the multiplayer mode. None of your unlocks from the single player mode are in the multiplayer mode. Now I mostly play Doom on the PlayStation 4. On console in general, the game runs at 1080p adaptive resolution at 60 frames per second, a pretty impressive feat for console games nowadays. Now for those of you that aren't aware to what adaptive resolution means, it means that the resolution of the game changes depending on the situation. So if there's a lot of particle effects going on and the Xbox One can't handle it, it might drop the resolution a bit more so it can keep the consistent 60 frames per second. That becomes much more of a viable thing on the Xbox One than on the PS4, as the PS4's better hardware seems to take the 1080p better than the Xbox One. Regardless though, both versions look pretty much exactly the same. There's a lot of particle effects going on as well, and in general it looks like a really pretty shooter with a more unique hell setting. I did experience a few glitches here and there. For example, the game just crashed on me at one point, and the second time I got stuck in the corner of a room and just couldn't move, with my only option being to commit suicide and respawn. I also noticed a lot of pop-in with textures, which may explain how this game was able to run at 1080p 60, even with all the particle effects. You see, in the fast-paced gameplay of Doom, it may not be as noticeable, but the game runs textures at a lower resolution until you get closer to them. You can notice if you quickly turn and look at an object, you can sort of see where it still renders a few seconds after you're looking at it from blurry to sharp. Another thing I noticed are the long load times. While loading into a new mission, you can expect to wait 30 to 45 seconds before it actually loads, and then dying and respawning during a mission takes about 20 seconds. On paper it doesn't sound too bad, but those start to add up once you play the harder levels and you die more often. At its core, Doom is really fun. It's not perfect, but fun. The campaign can get pretty repetitive, and I ran into a few glitches and crashes here and there, yet despite all that, I can't stop playing the campaign mode. The weapon progression and the crazy gore setting was enough to keep me interested. The level creator is pretty cool, and although I personally won't be creating my own levels with it, it does mean that as long as there's people playing this game, you'll have new levels to play online made by the community. The multiplayer mode is a blast, and as old as freeze tag is on the playground, in a first-person shooter it feels new and fun. If you love first-person shooters but have been bored with the formulas that games like Call of Duty have been adopting, this feels new and fresh for 2016. It has flaws, I'll admit, but I think most will enjoy the different take on the first-person shooter. On the other hand, if you're iffy on getting this game because you haven't really liked a shooter in a while, maybe wait for a price drop to try it out. Either way, I enjoyed Doom and I'd recommend it to anyone looking to have a fun multiplayer experience, and a crazy hell of a massacre in the single-player mode. Thank you all very much for watching my review of Doom on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. If you enjoyed it, smash a like on it. It really does help the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. For those of you that have any questions about the game before you buy them, be sure to drop them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer what I can. Thank you all for being some awesome viewers. As always, all my links and information, the social networks and gaming usernames are in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later.